What time is the adhan for Isha? أكرمك الله يا أخي علي بابا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونتوكل عليه سبحانه، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد. I wanted to talk about something different today because there's a lot going on in the dunya today, especially with what's going on in the UK, where I lived for many years. There are a lot of things jumping off in the UK that I believe it's important to talk about these affairs because they concern us, although it's over there in the UK. Because the family of kufr and the goal and the objective of the non-Muslims is one and the same wherever you find yourself. But I decided not to deal with that. Maybe I'll deal with that in the Khutba to Jumu'ah. I don't know. Allahu A'lam. So I think what I'll do is, because there were some loose ends and things that we didn't touch upon today, and I thought it would be important to clarify those things. Although the Back to Basics class shouldn't be understood to be a class that's always a continuation of the Khutbah. Wallahi, I was this close to talking about what is happening in the UK with the problem of Southport. Any of you heard of what's going on in Southport? Not a single one of you? Yeah, the 3 little girls who were stabbed to death. No, they're not Muslims, but the EDL, English Defense League, which is the equivalent of the KKK here, they came out in groves. They were a lot of people, and they destroyed the Masjid in the area, saying that the one who murdered those girls, was a Muslim, and he wasn't a Muslim. It was just false propaganda. And they destroyed the Muslim Masjid and the property and the homes of the Muslims, and it was a lot of them, only to find that the person was a non-Muslim. But when you demonstrate, and I'm not a demonstrator, I'm not going out there asking the government or anybody else for my rights. I'm not doing that. I'm not marching and I'm not demonstrating me. But when you march and you demonstrate for the rights of the Palestinians, just because you go out there, you are anti-Semitic. Just because you went out there. You support Hamas, just because you went. But when these white racists go out there and they destroy property and they do what they do, they're never described as terrorists. They never apologize. They're never dealt with in a way that they deal with us. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. I thought that people in America, especially this community, I thought you guys would have been aware, but maybe it's just because I lived there, so it came up on my feed and the people that I deal with. So I saw it. It's a mess. Shows the double standards of when things happen. So we're going to leave that, especially in light of the fact that you brothers not really aware of that. Southport, 3 white girls got stabbed to death. The person was not a Muslim, but when it happened, it was a bunch of fake news, and these ignorant racists went out, and a lot of times they're alcoholics and drunkards. They're from the Suddich of the people, riffraff, miscreants. That's who they are. That's how they are. And they don't apologize, but we'll leave that. I wanted to add on, inshallah, some things that could have been mentioned today that I didn't mention. And at the top of the list of what I want to mention is that when we talk about the importance of being healthy people and eating right and making big efforts to change how we eat and how we live in order to get in tune with Allah's creation and to be better Muslims and better people, I don't want anyone to misunderstand that I'm telling you, you have to be a vegetarian or that you have to be a vegan. I'm not against vegetarians and vegans. I really don't even know what a vegan is, to be honest with you. I think that people don't eat meat or something, but I can't tell you what the definition of a vegan is. I know a vegetarian doesn't eat meat, but he can eat fish and stuff like that. That particular diet may help some people, but religiously, I'm not telling people that you have to stop eating meat. I say you have to stop eating processed meat. You have to stop eating this genetically, created meat. That's what I'm saying. This poison. Because if we look at the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I want to ask you, brothers, did the Prophet eat meat? He ate meat. What was the favorite part of the animal? This is our Rasul, our Nabi al-Mustafa al-Mujtaba that we love. The shoulder was the part of the meat that he loved the most. Shoulder. Some people came and they gave Aisha a gift of a whole slaughtered animal. And Aisha, our mother, the wife of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she gave it all away in sadaqah. Although she needed it, she wanted it. They were poor, they needed it. She gave it all away because she was generous. And she used to be in a race with our mother Zainab, who used to be called the al-Masakin. Zainab bintu Jahsh used to take care of the poor people, would come to her, and she never let them go away without giving them sadaqah, and she was poor. So Aisha used to say Zainab was the most beautiful wife of the Nabi, and she's our mother. All of them are our mother, our mothers. So when that meat was given to her, she gave everything away except the shoulder, and she only saved that because, and this is the dalil, she knew that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved the shoulder. She was sensitive, she was aware of what her husband loved. For the women who are listening, she has to read the room, she has to be connected, what makes him upset, what makes him happy, what gets in his central nervous system, what gets him riled up. My daughter, your daughter, my wife, your wife, my wives, your wives, they have to be aware of that stuff. When the Prophet came home, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, what happened today? Because he doesn't know the ilm al-ghayb, unseen. She said some people gave this to us as a hadiyah, a gift. I want to ask you guys, why did she say they gave it to us as a gift? A gift. Why? Because he doesn't take sadaqah. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not take the osakh of the people. He didn't take from what the people's dirt was. The people give sadaqah to clean up their own money. So when we go out of the masjid and we give sadaqah to the masjid or sadaqah to this one, that one, the masjid gives sadaqah to other people It's to clean up our money. And Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam described it as the dirt of the people. They're giving their sadaqah to clean up their money. He didn't take that. But if you gave him a hadiyah, a gift, so she took it. She said, Ya Rasulullah, what happened today is that someone came and gave us a whole sheep as a gift. He said, what happened to it? She said, I gave it all out and it's all gone except the shoulder. I kept the shoulder for you because you're my husband. I'm aware of what you like, what you don't like, what you eat, what you don't eat, how you are. I'm aware of that. He told her, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, well, all of the animal has, he said, all of the animal has remained with us. You gave it out, but it all has remained in with us. The only part of the animal that has gone is the shoulder. Because we are going to eat this shoulder, and after we eat this shoulder, what happens to the food after it's eaten is going to happen to that, and there it's going to be gone. Even though in that is sadaqah. The woman, the wife prepares it, and so forth and so on. But the point is, giving things to people, it never made your money decrease one bit. So he loved the shoulder. He ate meat. Also, Allah Azza wa Jal has created us with these teeth right here. You guys know what these teeth are called? The canines. Mine right here is broken. This is from the police. Yeah, they hit me in my mouth, try to knock all of my grill out. And these two right here, this one is broke, this is down. But he tried to take all of them out. Why? The same reason why they shot that African-American woman in her face. That's why some people wonder, why do I always mention African-American? Because it's in my DNA. He just turned around in the cop car and hit me with the flashlight to knock all of my grill out. Yeah, here. And then charge me with assaulting him. Charge me with assaulting him. That's how it is, brother. I want to make a dua, you guys say Allah. Allah protect us from the alligators, the snakes, and the police. Nobody said, come on, seriously, brother, I'm not joking. Allah protect us from the snake, the alligators, and the police. Gotta know how to deal with these people. I am not saying we have to be vegetarians and vegans and none of that stuff. I'm not saying that. If you want to be a vegetarian or vegan, that's your no problem. But don't be shadid on the people who don't want to do that. Because meat in our religion is permissible. But there is one type of meat that we should try to avoid according to the Sunnah. And that is al-istiqtar min akal lahm. That's the cow, the beef. Try not to eat a lot of beef. And that's what the Prophet said. Try not to eat a lot of beef. That's in the authentic Sunnah. He didn't make it haram, but try not to eat a lot of beef. You go back and you check that out yourselves. So that's the first point. The second point is the issue of being in good health as men. We have a brother in this masjid. I looked him up on the internet. I met him many times, African-American brother. He is a proper sensei, like a real expert in jujitsu. I looked him up. He comes here every so often. I don't know if you guys know him. I spoke to him and I said to him, hey, we would like to do a class here. I just have to talk to the insurer because insurance and all that stuff, because we don't know. But as men, as an ummah, we got to get strong. Not strong to go to Syria to make jihad or to go to Afghanistan. Nah, I'm not saying that. But just strong because that's what the Muslim man is. one of the great scholars of Islam, Shaykh al-Islam, Ibn al-Qayyim, he has a book, he called that book Al-Furusiyya. How do you translate that? Yeah. But there's another word, but we're going to go with the knighthood. You know the knight. But the knight is the non-Muslims. That's why I don't like using that. You know the knight, like on 192. If you go 199, there's a castle over there. Medieval. There's a guy, Yasser Qadi, who said that the Sharia of Islam is the medieval time. May Allah guide that brother, guide us. But you know what I'm talking about? The black and you with the sword, the lance. That's Furusiyya. That's not Furusiyya with the Arabs. Furusiyya with the Arabs is knowing how to ride a horse and knowing how to deal with weapons and to deal with, manliness. But it's not manliness. It is a knight. It's that chivalry, that thing. A warrior. Furusiyya is being a warrior. I'm going to make it very clear. I'm not telling anybody, go here, go there. I'm not telling them. I'm saying, be prepared, be ready to take care of yourself. That's our deen. And this is one of the things about what today's talk was about. We are people who are out of shape. The companions used to travel from Al-Medina to Bedr. And it would be 3 people on one animal. And they would take turns riding that animal. And if we had to do that, ride from Kissimmee to Orlando in this heat, 3 of us, it would be like, we would start complaining. It'd be tough because we're not. I hope you guys understand. I'm not calling anybody to go do anything, and I'm not apologizing either. I'm saying we have to be men, man. We have to be men. So concerning that is part of what our khutbah was about today, without going overboard and without going extreme. Because there are just too many ayat of the Quran and the authentic Sunnah to show the importance of this. Allah told the believers, and the believers always were lesser in numbers. وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Allah told the believers, do not be weak in your minds and weak in your morale. Don't be low like that. When you are in fact the upper ones, you're the upper ones if you're truly believers. And that's how the Muslim exists. He's not the guy who always is bowing his neck and apologizing unnecessarily. But the fiqh of al-Islam, for you young brothers, the fiqh of al-Islam means you have to read the room and you got to see the reality of your situation. Can't be crazy. But you don't always have to be a second-class citizen, always apologizing. This Furusiyya thing about being strong and being a man, this is from our deen. If someone comes like this shura here or someone, they say, oh, don't talk about, we say, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is our religion, but we're going to be balanced with it. I'm not telling anybody to go do something crazy. We're going to be against you in that. Free ourselves from you in that. We're not going to apologize. Just as you go out and you work for your families and you hustle and you grind, that's part of a furusiyya. A furusiyya is you being able to tell your wife, no, don't do that. Your daughter, no. And they get with the program. And they don't make inqilab and khuruj against you because they respect you because of what you're showing and what you're bringing to the table. You're providing. You're the teacher. Not just muscles, not like that. So that's all connected to today's khutbah. Listen. Allah revealed the Quran and he told Yahya, Ya Yahya, khudh al-kitaba biquwwatin. Yahya, take the book with power. Be on your religion. Don't be faint-hearted. Don't change your name. Don't apologize. Don't look at any group of people, even Muslims, and you look at them and you look like you're lesser, even with the Muslims. In the Middle East, in the Khalij, in the Gulf states, the Gulf state people have awliya there, ulama there, good people there. And they have more money than any of the Arabs. Bangladeshis don't have a lot of money. Filipinos don't have a lot of money. But the Bangladeshi Filipino who has Aqidah, he's not going to let anybody treat him like you a second-class citizen. And there's something that happened to my people that we're suffering from right now. We have inferiority complexes because we were told the white man, Isa ibn Maryam, is the son of Allah and he looks like this. It's an inferiority complex. We shouldn't have superiority complexes or inferiority complexes. We should just have the Aqidah of Islam. So that's part of the dars today, the Khutba today, the carry on today. I want to leave this message with you, brothers, that these young people, Rida, Ali Baba, and our people coming up, we are not second-class citizens to nobody, to anybody. From what we have in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we mentioned it today, there's a lot of stuff. Is that the Nabi mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it deserves our attention because it's a hadith everybody knows. Al-mu'min al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allahi min al-mu'min al-da'if. The strong Muslim, physically strong, is better and more beloved to Allah than the believer who can't do that. I'll give you an example of what happened recently. When we went out fishing a few weeks ago, my first time going fishing, and it was nice. I liked it. But leave the fishing. The brothers were bringing sheetrock upstairs. Sheetrock. They were in the brothers' car. We had to get the sheetrock upstairs. There were people from our community men who don't have the ability to carry sheetrock upstairs to help the situation. They can't do it. Some people because they're old, some people because their back hurts, some people because this, that. But everybody, we have to be in a position, baby. During the time of the Nabi, the one who was A'raj, you guys know the A'raj? I say it, you say it. A'raj. That's good. I like that. Ain. You're the killer. Ain. A'raj. Everybody say it. A'raj. The A'raj is the guy who walks with a limp. A leg is shorter than the other leg. So he's like handicapped, physically challenged. There were companions who were like that. They went out for jihad. And one of them in particular, when the Muslims stopped engaging, he was sitting there, Rasulullah started pumping the people up, started telling them about a Jannah and Shahada and this and that. I'm not telling anybody to go anywhere and do anything. I'm sharing with you our theology, what happened in the Tariq of Islam. He started encouraging, and people were tired. He started telling them about what was in Jannah, what Allah prepared. The man that was A'raj, Rasulullah was telling the people, you'll get this, you get that, you get that. The man was eating dates. He said, Ya Rasulullah, do you mean to tell me between me and that Jannah, what you just described, is for me to eat these dates? That's it? He said, that's it. The man said, Bahun, this is nothing. He threw that away. And he went and he got Shahada. He was A'raj. He didn't see himself as being crippled. He didn't see himself as being unable. Now, I don't want to be weird and strange. I don't want anybody sitting there saying, what is he? What is he? I'm telling you, I'm not telling anybody, and I'm against this thing where Muslims from their Hamas and emotions go and do something crazy. I'm against that. But I'm also against us rejecting what is clearly from our religion. Abdullah ibn Abbas, one of the ulama from the companions, may Allah be pleased with him, he had asked one of his students, Ikrimah, did you get married yet? Ikrimah said no. He said, hurry up and get married, because the best of this ummah is the one who has the most wives. Scholars understood that two ways, and it's clear. One way is the best of this ummah is the one who married 11 women, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or even more than that. So don't leave yourself unmarried. Another way is the one who has more wives and he's doing it the right way is better than the one who only has one wife. And what we have to do is you always have to qualify. I'm not telling everybody to go get it. I'm not telling you that. But the way the ummah is now is a situation of weakness. This is what we have. So we're going to read the room and see the reality. No one is saying to you to go and get married again. We're just saying the way things have happened right now in our ummah, we have a lot of issues. Today's khutbah was all about that. The prophets and the messengers, no prophet, no messenger was a weakling. None of them. Rasulullah said about Sulaiman married how many women? How many? A hadith says 70, a hadith said 99. And there are different numbers. The scholars combined that. Hadith said 100. He married 100 women in Surah Al-Baqarah, 100. He said, I'm going to have relationships with every one of them tonight, and all of them are going to give a mujahid to fight fi sabilillah. But he didn't say Bismillah. The angel said, say Bismillah. He didn't say Bismillah. Inshallah. He didn't say Inshallah. So every child came out as half of a human being, meaning he was handicapped. He didn't come, this and that. Some of the scholars said those different numbers indicate that some of them was from this tribe, from that tribe, some of them the slaves, some of them was his wives, some was his, because they are all authentic and they are varying numbers. They are varying numbers, and all of the narrations are authentic. We can't be like those people who come and say, oh, they're not authentic. They're authentic, but it's a discrepancy, so we leave them. That's the Islam of the da'if, the aql da'if. You have to find a way to try to make insijam and harmonize between the narration. The important thing is 99 women from Isha to Fajr requires a level of power and strength. I am not here telling anybody to get pumped up and understand. No, this is theology, our religion, theology. That's all. Do you brothers understand what I'm saying right now? Some of you shake your heads and self say, no, I don't want anybody to go. Abu Asma, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not encouraging anybody to go tell his wife tonight, I'm going to get married. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that al-furusiyya al-rujula in al-Islam is a prominent thing. It's part of our religion. And that doesn't happen when we're sick. And it doesn't happen when we're weak. And there's a lot to say. Some of the companions used to have, and I wasn't planning on mentioning this, but I will mention it. No, I'm going to leave that on. I'm going to leave that on, inshallah. Something that the Persians used to do, and it didn't affect their children and their soldiers. And when it happened with the companions, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam set the understanding straight. So I'm not going to mention that. As it relates to the strength and the power that the Muslim man, and again, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not talking about that toxic masculinity. You brothers know this brother who's in Romania. What's his name? Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate came out, he blew up, he became a Muslim, he blew up, and now he's talking authoritatively. But he seems to be getting closer and closer to the far right. He panders to the far right. And as a Muslim youngster, when you don't have filters and you don't know how to deal with these, you don't have a father with you. telling you how to understand this and how to look at it, you'll take him as an example. And only Allah knows what's going to happen to Andrew Tate. I ask Allah to bring him back because he's pandering to the far right and what he's saying and what he's doing. That's that toxic masculinity. You have no knowledge and you just think it's about muscles. It's not about muscles. It's about knowledge. It's about the deen. It's about principles. It's about fiqh. It's about understanding our religion. It's not just throwing caution to the wind and just doing things. So, in addition to what we mentioned today, I want to encourage myself, encourage you brothers as well, in being balanced and taking all of the religion and knowing there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for everything. And if you try to be mustajil and you're being too quick about certain things, you will be prevented from doing that thing. I don't want to fall in that, but this is theology. We're saying to you, eating right, living right, and this stuff is all connected to everything, what it is just to be a Muslim. You guys understand what I'm saying? Do you guys really understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be weird. I'm just saying, not be apologetic about our religion. That's extreme. And don't be people who are emotional and practice a religion in a way that's not right. From what we wanted to mention as well concerning this, Juani, is in terms of good health and eating right, the Nabi of Islam mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, that the food for one person is enough for two. The food that's enough for two people is enough for three. And the food that's enough for three people is enough for four. How many of you heard that hadith before? A person who has food, the food for himself is enough for another person. Two of them, their food is enough for three. Three people have food. Their food is enough for four. How many of you heard that hadith before? What do we make istinbat of that hadith? What do we understand from the hadith, from the fawaid of that hadith? Just making ijtihad, because it's a hadith we heard before. What do we understand from that in light of today's khutbah? But just food that one person has. He has a burger and fries. It's enough for him and someone else who comes. Two people have food. They went and got they got food for them too. A third person came. It's enough for the three of them. Three people got food. A fourth one comes. It's enough for four. What are some of the benefits of that hadith? Taha. What do you say, my brother? Huh? Being selfless and sharing. None of you truly believes you love your brother, but you love yourself. Like with our children. They grow up, they don't want to share. We get food, we shouldn't be haris on the food. A person comes, we say to him, Tafadhal. What I have is part of yours. That's our deed. And never to feel or think, that's your brother. If I can eat it and it's enough for me, you can have some as well. What's another benefit? Good job, Taha. Jasmine. The barakah. You said barakah? The barakah is when the hands are many. The more hands in the plate, the more barakah. You eat by yourself, that's barakah. But the more hands in the plate, when we eat together, and this system is teaching us not to eat together. This system that we're living in, I'm a husband, I'm a father. This system we live in teaches us not to eat together. I'm telling you, these people are killing us with food and getting away from what our ajdad brought from just what it is to be a Muslim. So the daughter eats by herself, or even if we ate together. But I got my plate, you got your plate the fringy way. You do your thing, I do my thing. I want to ask you guys, is that haram? Everybody eat from his own plate? It's not haram, but it's not our way. Not an hour away. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they brought him some food. He told the little boy, come. The little boy started eating with his left hand, and his hand was going all over the plate. He said, Ya ghulam, sammillah, wa kul bi yaminik, wa kul mimma yaliq. Hey, little boy, say Bismillah before you eat. And eat with your right hand, and eat from what is in front of you. Intimate, tarbiyah, teaching the boy the etiquette about you go do your thing, you go do, even if we're in the same table. It's not our way. قال المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الإسلام بدأ غريبا وسيعود غريب فطوبى للغرباء. This thing right here as a revert. I grew up, take my plate and my stuff to my room and watch TV. I come in late. I get my plate, my food, I eat it when I want. I get my plate, my food, and I'm out of the door. That's not the Islamic way. In Islam, the family is together. You better be in his house at this time so we can eat together. And we're making musara'a, munaza'a with our children just to eat together. This thing, food for one, enough for two, enough for three. Anybody else want to say anything? What's the istinbat of that hadith? Anybody? Naam? Say it again, Sheikh. Feed people food. Feed people food. What else? What else? Eat less. Eat less. Eat less. Don't be so haris on eating too much. Now, as I say and I'm talking, I want you guys to really understand this. I am not trying to come across like I don't eat a lot. It's jihad. Jihad al-Akbar. Are we going to have pizza tonight? I thought somebody would bring cups or something like that. Or what's that Moroccan stuff? Couscous or something. I'm like everybody else. I'm like everybody else here. This is something we have to make jihad for, man. It's serious. The day after Salatul Jumuah, we had some brothers here who were here for the first time, and we went and we got food from what we Abu Anas, I like this guy. The thing that we bring to eat, it's just how it is. It's a fast food society. Let's get it processed, keep it moving. So that hadith, one of the main goals, objectives, benefits of that hadith is eat less. Share your food with someone else. It's better for you. Better for you. Last thing that we want to mention here, inshallah, is when we look at the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla has mentioned in the Quran a lot of holistic foods that are intrinsically wholesome, innately, in and of itself, halal and tayyib. It's halal and it's pure. Many, many things in the Quran. Like what? Like what? Like honey. Real honey. Not that public stuff. They're killing us. I'm telling you, they're killing us. There's a thing, real honey, comes from Afghanistan, comes from Yemen and other places. I mean, it's real honey. Allah mentioned Surah Al-Naml, An-Nahl, the bee and the honey. Have any of you guys had real honey? Anybody here had real honey? It is expensive, man. It is expensive. It's expensive. But it's the real honey of the Quran. This stuff in this Publix and stuff that we be buying, that stuff is sugar water. It's like Kool-Aid. That's all that is. But at least it has some stuff in it. So we just leave it as a placebo. We think it is, so we leave it as placebo. It works, inshallah. You think it works. What other foods were mentioned in the Quran that are wholesome, organic, huh? The fig and the olive that Allah swore by. Allah swore by. The fig and the olive. Not the olive where all the salt is in it and stuff like that. You know the one we love. It's be curated in salt. This salt is no good for us. Salt gives you high blood pressure. But the fig and the olive. The black seed is not in the Quran, but it's in the Sunnah. What else? The pomegranate. You know what that is in Arabic? Rumman. Rumman. We used to call it, in the ghetto where I came from, Chinese apple. I don't know why we called it that. Because black people always be on some other stuff, but we called it the Chinese apple. Have any of you ever had pomegranate juice? Like, blow your socks off, man. You have to literally take your socks off so your toes can do like, you guys, I'm serious. You have to take your socks off because your toes go like this. No sugar, no anything. Pomegranate, grapes, bananas, fish, camel, cows. But the stuff that they're feeding us, they're killing us. So in concluding, I just wanted to share with you brothers, as your older brother in some instances, your younger brother in some instances, as the Imam here, I'm personally going to really start to try to be better in my diet, my lifestyle. I'm going to start working out. I'm trying to get me a bike. I don't think I can run out here in this weather. I don't think I can run. This is too hot. And I look at these young brothers, Umar and these young brothers and stuff like that, Rida, Ali Baba, I don't know. I'm going to start getting with these brothers because we don't want to keep doing what we're doing and we're just not feeling good. Inshallah, we got all these ailments and all these ills and all this stuff. And that's why I gave the disclaimer, because I didn't want anyone in the audience in the masjid to feel I'm saying you're overweight, you're down. No. All of us are struggling with these diets that we have that are no good. They are no good. Too much sugar, too much all of that. So I'm here to conclude this class right now before the adhan, inshallah, to say, let's do a better job collectively as a community, as brothers, as a family that we are here at Masjid As-Sunnah, to eat better and to do better, inshallah.
Meat, fish, the bottom over here, it's fine. There's no harm in it. Chicken, all that. It's fine. You buy it and you don't cook it yourself.
Well, I'm not a conspiracy theorist where I'm gonna make haram من ذا الذي حرم زينة الله والطيبات من الرزق, as Allah made inkar on the kuffar of Quraysh. They used to make things haram on the people. This meat is for the men and this is for the women. Well, I'm not going to do that. Make haram for the people things. Like people say, you can't drink Mountain Dew. You can't. I'm not going to do that by saying that the meat, but this meat is a problem too, brother. You know, they feed those animals, man. I remember when I first became a Muslim, the chicken was little. He was this little. Man, the chicken is this big. He's like a turkey. And the turkey is the size of a groundhog. Yes. Steroids, this, that. But we do the best that we can. Saddidu wa qaribu. I don't like going shopping. I don't know about you, brothers. I don't like going shopping and making a tasawwuq in the supermarket, because when I was little with my brother, my mother would just window shop, and my brother and I would look for chairs, no chairs, and we start acting up, and my mother would say, stop acting up. So I'm traumatized as a result. So when I go to the place to shop, I don't want to be with a woman who's reading all of the ingredients. I'm not a chemist, man. I just want to get in and out. I'm not reading all of that stuff. What are you doing? So I'm not going to tell you to do that. But I do think we have to be aware. We have to be aware of this stuff that we're dealing with. We have to be aware. I just say let's avoid the ghulu, because some people are really extreme with these ingredients. And some of these ingredients, they say, maybe you can help me here, but some of these ingredients, like the new stars, when I was young, there were only 9 planets. Only 9. Jupiter, Uranus, Mars, Earth, what else? Neptune, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and one more. Huh? Pluto, the biggest one, right? Pluto. Mars. Now they got all these planets out there, man. And the planets we call 35-7X. And ingredients are like that. What am I, I'm a chemist? I'm a chemist? I'm not a chemist. And I'm not going to put that on people. But we have to be aware, man. Even this whole issue about buying from the Zionist, buying dates that the Zionists are stealing from the people. I used to not really worry about stuff like that. I don't have time for that. Just give me the dates, man. Give me the mature dates. But I want to be an intelligent consumer. I don't want to give my money to people who are killing my mother, my Muslim brothers and sisters. Me personally. So there's an application that you can use where you can put the barcode scan and you know. And it just requires a little bit of thought here. But I don't want to sound weird and overboard because I'm not one of those people. I'm just saying let's do the best I can. So the meat, halal meat, I hope and pray that those halal animals are not being genetically modified. I don't know. That's why I encourage all of you, let's go out fishing collectively and we catch fish and we bring the fish right out of the ocean like we did before. We caught 37 fish or something like that. And if we could do it and we're new, if everybody came, we'll have 500-600 fish together. And then that's another thing, right? Because the ocean is poison. The ocean is poison. Now I'm not making it hard. The ocean is poison. Inshallah, natamanna. Because the ocean is very wide. And you know the hadith about the kullatain, that if some najasa fell into some water and it's more than the kullatain, it doesn't become najis because the water has the ability to purify like that. So I'm not going to go overboard, Mahmoud. I'm not going to go overboard. Besides, I want to eat like everybody else, man. And ruwaydin, akhi. I want to start working out, but ruwaydin. I'm not going to make it difficult. All right, brothers, you guys have any questions? 10 minutes, inshallah, before the adhan. Alindakum shay? That's it? Okay, naktafi bihadha al-qadr, inshallah. Before the adhan of Abi Anas, what I was speaking about, being strong, getting married, the ayat of the Quran said, فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ. Marry 2, 3, 4. The scholars of Islam before us of the Salaf said, at-ta'addud is the asl with the man. That's what they said. I'm not trying to be strange, and I'm not telling anybody to do something weird or strange. This is our theology. I don't want anybody, even these non-Muslims, coming saying, you said this, you said that. This is our theology. It's our religion. We don't apologize for this stuff. And I just want to be understood in the right context. That's all. That's all. All right? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.